Good morning and welcome back to another Tail Wag briefing. This week's briefing is available on Substack, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. We're continuing our discussion around building that safety culture, and we're looking at the different responsibilities of everyone in your business and what their accountability looks like. This week, we are looking at the employer's half, what the business is required to provide, and why it matters in the field. It's not just about good management. The employer's responsibilities are not optional best practices or signs of a generous workplace. They are legal obligations grounded in OSHA's General Duty Clause, which requires employers to provide a workplace free from recognized hazards. In pet sitting, that means the employer cannot simply hand a sitter a schedule and say, "Good luck." The law requires a little bit more than that. So, what should your employer be providing you? Training, both initial training and ongoing training, not a one-time orientation. As services evolve, hazards are identified, and the team grows, training must keep up. A sitter doing their first insulin administration needs more than a read-through of the manual or a YouTube video. Personal protective equipment should be provided to you at no cost. This might include traction devices for your shoes, flashlights, a high-resolution vest. Any required equipment must be provided. You should never be purchasing your own safety gear for a hazard that your employer created. Obviously, we're working our way through written policies and procedures. Clear, complete, accessible to everyone, not locked away in a filing cabinet. Hazard and incident investigation. What does it look like when something goes wrong or almost goes wrong? The employer has to follow up. The more the patterns get corrected before they become injuries. And most importantly, a culture without retaliation. A stop work authority only functions if workers trust they can actually use it. A culture that punishes hazard reporting or visit cancellations destroys the system from the inside out. This retaliation-free piece, this is one deserves its own conversation because it's the most invisible, and yet it's the most important. A worker who reports a hazard and gets a cold response will not report the next one. A worker who exercises stop work authority and gets questioned or penalized will not use it again. And the next time conditions are unsafe, they will push through it because the culture told them to. And we see this a lot in pet sitting and dog walking. It's your employer's job not just to build the system on paper, but it is to build a culture where that system can actually be used. A sitter shows up and cancels a visit after finding the client's walkway completely iced over with no salt or sand available. She exercises her stop work authority, documents the conditions, and notifies the supervisor, team lead, or business owner. The client is upset. What should happen next? And here's what the right call is. Your employer should back the worker. The sitter followed the system correctly. The client is contacted about the conditions of their property. The documentation is filed. The sitter hears nothing negative about the decision. They may be asked to help with the resolution, but they don't have negative feedback about that decision. Has your employer ever provided something, training, equipment, a policy that made a specific visit meaningfully safer? What was it? Is there something on the employer responsibility list that you don't currently experience at work? What do you think would change that? What would make you more confident exercising a stop work authority? I know that's the tough one in the pet sitting world. The takeaway here is the employer's responsibilities exist before you step out of the car. Training, equipment, policies, culture, all of that travels with you when you enter into every home on your route. When they're solid, you're going to be safer. That's the tailgate for this week. Hope you found it interesting and gave you something to actually think about a little bit. Until next week, have a great day and have a safe week.